Welcome to the DL Gaming Podcast. We're adding games both new and old to your backlog, one slightly inappropriate episode at a time. My name is Christian. Wait, no, I'm not. It's Amanda. That's right. I'm hosting this show this time. My name is Amanda, and I'm just here for the booty. And joining me today is Bobby.
And stay tuned to the end for a shocking surprise.
Oh my God.
And Christian.
I've been puking and pooping for the last 48 hours.
This is great. It's a great start. All right. Well, this week we're going to be talking about Atlas, Tempest Rising, and Oxygen Not Included. But first, guys, what's new? Christian, tell me about that puking and pooping.
Yeah. So I survived norovirus, which is the sickest I've ever been since I was a kid. So how it worked in my household is Mara got it. It was actually pretty scary. We heard like some gurgling from a room and we sort of ran in there and there was just puke everywhere. And she was lying on her back. We're like, oh my God, what's happening? So she got really sick. Then Rianne got it. And then I got it. And I was just knocked out. I mean, the onset is like a 1 hour onset from feeling normal to feeling like the worst you've ever felt and the puking and pooping starting. So that's horrible. But in the honor of being sick, it made me think we need more games about 2001's hit movie Osmosis Jones. I want anthropomorphic microorganisms. I want an RPG where I'm like a white blood cell trying to figure out what this norovirus is all about. You know? So that's what I'm manifesting in 2026. I think it would be cool to have like a microbiology game where you sort of learn about the parts of the body and how they affect you, as well as like gamified with a decent story, sort of like what Osmosis Jones was for a movie. So yeah, that's what's new with me.
Yeah.
I think I pitched that idea. So, we always get asked that question. What do you think would make a great game? Like we're experts or something.
Yeah.
But I think one time my answer to that was not a Star Wars turn-based tactical game, but was in fact the Fantastic Voyage, but a video game where you're like shrunk down going through the human body, trying to navigate through that. There's always like an episode of that, like Magic School Bus or something.
Yeah. Bobby, and you are 1 for 2 on your suggested game. So
that's right.
Statistically, this game could be coming.
It should be.
Yeah.
Somebody's listening.
Yeah. I mean, everybody's waiting for that game based on a movie that came out 50 years ago. It is the right time to strike.
Yeah.
Well,
all
Bobby,
right.
What's new with you?
I'll tell you what's new. CES happened because it's January. This is the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas, where they show off a bunch of gadgets that are not practical in any way.
But they're cool, right?
But they look great on the show floor and they make for great coverage in YouTube videos and articles and outlets and all that stuff. But there are sprinkled in some interesting things. So, I always keep track of this just to see what's cool. And it's pretty easy to separate like, okay, this is like never going to happen, but ooh, that's cool. There were a ton of OLED monitors there from Asus, LG, all the big manufacturers. That's nothing new. I talked a few episodes about how OLEDs just seem to be everywhere now. But what was interesting was this Lenovo Legion Pro with a rollable OLED screen. This is a proof of concept laptop by Lenovo where it's got a laptop screen that's 16 inches, but then you press a button and it very loudly, there's a loud motor in it. It expands the screen up to 24 inches.
Oh.
It's like a Batmobile laptop. It's crazy. And I thought that was something that was never going to be made. I was like, oh, no one's going to buy this.
Well, it is proof of concept. I don't know if they're going to hit the market with this. And I think some other manufacturers have played with this as well. It's a very interesting idea and it would work well on like a gaming laptop, I suppose. But and because we have rollable LED screens, you can do that now. But it was very loud. Like when I heard the audio, it was just like, whoa, oh, that is noticeable.
Dude,
and the
you
laptop
kind of need it to be loud. It's like the Teslas and electronic vehicles that have like the exhaust sound. It's just cool if you're setting up. It's like deployed.
It's got a little backup noise like boop. Yeah. Yeah, clear out, make some space because you could very easily spill a drink like that, like
Yeah.
that thing just pops out and
Tragedy.
knocks over your
Tragedy.
coffee.
By the way, I just want to acknowledge, Bobby, I'm still not over your secret quip in the intro. It's diabolical. Anyway, sorry. Keep
Well,
going.
that's how I keep them hooked, man. That's how we got retention. All
Right,
right.
right.
I'm
Yeah.
playing the game. So this laptop is also 6 pounds. It's kind of a hefty laptop, but it's an interesting idea. We'll see what they do with it. The last device I wanted to mention, or I thought that was worth mentioning, gaming wise, was this new keyboard by Corsair called Corsair's Galleon 100 SD. And what they've done on this keyboard is replaced the numpad with basically a Stream Deck. So a Stream Deck is a little
smart.
device where you have a bunch of programmable buttons. You can change the pictures on them. They're little tiny LED screens, and you can do different things like, okay, cue this, cue that. It's pretty much essential if you're going to be like streaming. And I believe we used to use one in the studio. I think, Christian, you have one. It's
Yeah.
a great little device, and they're not cheap. I think I had the Elgato one, but this is basically a keyboard with that built right into it. And the number pad, in my opinion, is useless anyway. I haven't had a number pad on my keyboard in 15, 20 years or something. So replacing it with a Stream Deck, fantastic idea.
It's free real estate for sure. Yeah.
That's so crazy. No, I do not agree with you guys. I use my number pad
Really?
all the time. Yes, I use my number pad all the time.
Wait,
Yeah.
What kind of numbers are you typing? You can't use the
well,
top numbers? You got to use
got
the
my-
side numbers?
Calculator app.
I don't like the top numbers. They feel so awkward. I can fly when I'm like crunching numbers and I'm using my number pad. I use it all
What?
the time.
It feels
yes.
like a retail thing. Like the number pad, like that's like a cash register.
I like
I don't-
that.
What are you ringing up over there on your PC?
Yeah.
I'm ringing up
That'll be,
budget, but I'm budgeting.
70
I'm very
77
busy.
cents. Very busy. Very busy. I'm very busy on my
Uh,
notepad.
Very busy on my
Got a-
mechanical keyboard. I
Got a
love the
little receipt
numbers.
that comes out of it.
It's like a mechanical.
And what's
Yeah.
the deal with receipts these days? I was at the store. All right, this is my type 5 here. I was
Jesus
at the store the other day and I got a receipt and I was just like, what is this? This is like a novel or at least a short story. This is not necessary. I bought like one thing. Like, we don't need that much paper. for
No,
the
we really
receipt. Like,
don't.
this is
I hate
outrageous.
receipts, dude. Yeah, I hate receipts so much. I love a
like-
place that's like, we can email you a receipt. I'm like, oh, thank God, that's a lot better. Yeah, just
Yeah,
send
but
it.
then they got on the email list, and then I get sus. I'm like, I don't want to be on
I
an
don't
email
care, dude.
list.
You know how toxic that thermal printing is? It's nasty. Anyway, that's a whole bird walk.
Yeah.
The only thing that's new with me, you'd mentioned Elgato. Yeah, I have an Elgato mic as well. And going through, my partner and I kind of went through the software and saw all the different things and all the different ways you can tweak it and how fine-tuned you can make your mic. So just did that recently. If anybody has Elgato, I really recommend they go through and check out really the depths of the software, all the different things that they can get, all the different like kind of add-ons and inputs and plugins that they can do. It's so cool, all the bells and whistles that they have for the software. They have in beta the newest version, which is even more fine-tuning, which is like crazy. It's kind of like every single input and output you can really fully tweak, like as if you're some sort of audio producer. It's nuts. And so, like I said, that's out on the beta testing side if you wanted to check out the latest and brand new version of Elgato Wave, which is their kind of software for it. But yeah, that's it. So this mic should sound amazing. And if it doesn't, it's your fault. I'm just joking. Please let me know if it sounds yeah, let me know if it sounds like crap, but we spent a lot of time working on it and it's just so cool the amount of like the equalizers that you can do. And like I made my voice sound like a Pip-Boy for a second, like coming through like as if I was listening to myself in a Pip-Boy. They've got
Sweet.
all kinds of cool little plugins and things. So, you know, that's the cool things of what's new, but curious as to what you guys have been playing. I'm actually going to jump to you first, Bobby. Tell us about what it's like when oxygen is not included.
Oxygen not included. So that is the game that I played last week, and it is by Clay Entertainment, which Clay Entertainment is just one of those developers that just seems to make a good game almost every single time. Like they've got a great track record. And what's crazy about it is they work in many different genres. Like their games are always very different. And
Mhm.
to make great games in different genres almost every single time, like that's just incredible. And I've always, been fascinated with developers that can do that. And I've always wondered what is it about a developer that just makes them great no matter what they do. And there are some things about Clay that is consistent across their games, but Oxygen not included. This is a base building colony sim and a survival game, I guess. Colony sim is an interesting idea. Like that's not a category of game that I really thought about before, but I saw that tag on Steam and I was like, that makes, yeah, like you say colony sim, I know exactly what you're talking about,
Like a
like
more
Dwarf
focused
Fortress and
city builder where you can click on your population and that it matters like the stats that show up. That's what I think about
mhm.
anyways when I hear
Yeah, it's not
colonies.
just about building the city, it's about managing the population and the people and their little idiosyncrasies, like they got to go to the bathroom, they got to puke, they got
One of your
sick.
guys doesn't like receipts. He can't
Yeah,
stand
exactly.
it.
Their weird little quirks. Like managing that type of stuff. And then it makes for some fun, exciting gameplay because it's all very random what can happen. It's not really random, it's like triggered events,
Mhm.
and they like it's like dominoes, like one thing leads to another. But one thing that I've noticed about Clay games, and this is true for Oxygen not included, is they have deceptively simple, cute, animated graphics, but then they have this very deep, complex gameplay. And when I looked at Oxygen not included, it was on sale for 750. The reviews are outstanding. It's made by Clay, which I love their games. So I was like, I got to pick this up and check it out. But for some reason, when I saw those graphics, I'm just like, this will be a fun little relaxing game to play, maybe on the Steam Deck, kick back and, build a base. It is crazy complex.
Yeah.
There is a lot going on in this game.
You didn't think you were gonna be doing organic chemistry, and then you were like, "What how do I get
Yeah.
how do I get oxygen? Why is it not included?"
Yeah, it's a lot. And when you start the game, it does kind of ease you into it. But very quickly you realize, like there's so many things that I have to do and so many knobs to turn. So you have your replicants, these are your little workers that run around and do things, and you can set priorities for them and you can get very detailed on what like they should be doing. And I have a feeling like, especially later in the game when you have many of them, that's very important to manage those tasks. But also just like there's so many things that like you have to take into account, like placing objects, and they make sense. Like, hey, don't put your toilets next to the dinner table because that's a sanitary issue. People are going to get sick if that happens, which they did. Whoops, lesson learned. Um, Also you can like block things, but like just on top of that there's just so many environmental factors. When you used to play like Sim City back in the day and you'd go into that view and you'd see all the plumbing underneath the city and you're like, oh, there's the problem there, we got a busted pipe over on 15th Street or something, and
Yeah.
you'd address that situation. Well, this game has 16 overlays. They ran out of function keys for the overlays. So you have to press like Shift F1, Shift F2 to see these other overlays, to see things like the oxygen, the power, temperature, air pressure, gas, light, all
Yeah.
these things. And all these things have an effect. I tried to build something and it's just like, oh, the air pressure isn't right here. I'm just like, okay, so how do I fix the air pressure now? Like it's just one thing after another with this game.
I had so much fun playing this game, and what happened, uh, kind of is like what happened in Don't Starve, where I was like, there are I have to play this game for 100 hours to get it. There are just levels and levels and levels to
Mhm.
this that the only way to learn is by doing it, and I haven't done enough, right? Like, I think multiple times on Oxygen Not Included, I have accidentally gassed my entire people to death because one of my scrubbers wasn't working, or because, the CO2 and the oxygen have different weights. And so they set in your colony in different places, and you have to at the beginning of the game at least store them in like these deep tunnels, like you're almost doing carbon capture. Anyways, that like what you're saying about the complexity, this
It
game is
cannot be
frustrating.
understated. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're in for a lot here. And I figured that out when I got a little bit into this game and I was like, okay, this is a game where I need to go on YouTube and just watch like a quick like top 10 tips for getting started and oxygen not included. So I found some video. It's like 15 minutes long. I started watching it, and this guy's base was just like, it looked like Factorio. I'm like, oh my god, like,
Yeah.
whoa, okay, so that's
It's
that
the
kind of
same
game.
it's the same thing on Don't Starve videos too. Some guy would be like, "How to survive the first winter and Don't Starve." And I'll be like,
Hmm.
he'll have like this massive setup. I'm like, "What? How is this possible?"
Yeah, yeah,
Hours, hours and hours of grinding. That's how trial
yeah.
and error. Yeah.
And yeah, you look at if you look at the reviews, there are lots of people that have like thousands of hours in this game. So that should give you a hint. So don't be deceived by the graphics here. Like this game is very uh, I want to say complex. Complicated sounds negative. It's complex. It is very
Complex, yep.
good though, and I did play it on the Steam Deck for a while too, and it worked well on there. The only issue that I have, and this comes up a lot of times on the Steam Deck, is reading the text. And so I remember you'd said in a past episode there was a way to zoom in on the text, and
Yep.
I was able to look up that shortcut. It's like Steam left trigger or something like that, and
Mhm.
that's incredibly helpful. That is kind of like change things big time with the Steam Deck because that happens in a lot of games. Like everything else is fine, but the text is just like difficult to read at certain points because of the
Yeah.
size of the screen. But other
Yeah.
than that, it works very well on the Steam Deck.
Awesome.
And Bobby, I mean, not to you did say you're gonna be talking about like Clay in totality. So how does this compare to the other games you've played of them, and what do you think?
So
Like, why do
I
they make
see
good games?
yeah, I see a lot of similarities between this, like mechanically, between this and Don't Starve,
Mhm.
but they're two like different genres. But I don't know, and this is crazy because like I interviewed somebody from Clay Games many years ago, probably about 5 years ago, and I really liked that interview because he said like for me personally, I don't care about story in games. I'm really just focused on the mechanics, and I was like, oh, I get it, dude. I get it.
Yeah.
I understand
A
that.
fellow gentleman.
And this it was strange because this was right around the time that Grifflins came out, which was when these like Grifflins was like Slay the Spire, but it was like an RPG and had a lot of story element. But I mean, like that just because one guy that worked there had this opinion doesn't mean that it's going to change the that game. But I've noticed like there's some consistency in their games graphically. If you look at their games, like even going back to Shank and Mark of the Ninja, like they kind of have that same cartoonish look to them. I don't know if they use the same graphics artist, but it does seem to be the same across all their games. And like I was saying earlier, they all have that look, yet when you get into the game, there are a lot of things going on underneath, like a lot of like mechanics and interesting gameplay. And like I don't know how you make that good. Like do you just test it over and over and over again and you find out what works and what doesn't and what's
Well,
satisfying and what isn't? Like
Amanda's in Vancouver now. Maybe Amanda needs to knock on Clay's door and say, "Hey, what's the Powerpuff Girl recipe here, folks?"
Yeah.
Like, what do you um, I think my humble suggestion is that Clay Entertainment is one of the only developers I know who still uses a forum as their primary way of gathering feedback. If you go on their website,
hmm,
the person you're interviewing, Kevin Forbes, I believe, is still an active forum poster on the Clay forums, which I think is pretty cool. I think they have a core community there who's interested in testing out their ideas. And because they've had wildly successful hits, maybe they're just not bothered by speed as, a factor in the triangle of like budget, idea, and time. Maybe the time factor doesn't really matter because they have enough self-funding from their
It
previous
allows them to
games.
hmm.
focus on like what they want to make and create and do. Yeah.
Yeah. And if you look at the trajectory of their games, like the early ones are very small and simple and they kind of build up. And so I feel like they've kind of grown in scope a little bit in their games. Like with each game, they've kind of got bigger and bigger. Um, but yeah, I don't know. That's a developer that it's one of those rare cases with games where if I see something from a developer, then like I'm automatically interested. That happens with very few of them. Ghost Ship Games, Ace Team, Clay. Like it's that mark of quality there.
Yeah, the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost, the trifecta, the famous Bobby trifecta.
That's right.
Cool, man. I'm
Alrighty.
glad you picked up this one and started playing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it runs great without a graphics card. Apparently, my iGPU, my integrated graphics card, was able to run it no problem.
Honestly, that's
great.
amazing, especially for how much complexity is in that game to be able to achieve that, you know? Simple graphics, I'm
I
sure,
mean, that's
is
what you
what's
get
doing
with
it.
simple graphics, right?
Yep.
Like you can run it on a potato.
Absolutely. Well, speaking of complex gameplay, I'm going to get into my beast of what I've been playing. Oh no, guys! I tripped and fell into basically a fucking Ark Survival Evolved hole. I
Help, she said,
help,
actively playing for hundreds of hours.
yeah, and I can't wait to be done with the podcast to go back and play some more because I got things I gotta do. But anyway, so what I'm talking about today is Atlas. This is a game that came out a long time ago. 2018 is when it came out, and
Really?
yeah, it's
Sorry,
a little
I know
bit of
nothing
a.
about this game, so I'm like,
It's a bit of an older game developed by Grape Shot Games and Instinct Games, right at a time when, like, I think it's Snail Games might have picked them up and kind of shoulder. Essentially, this game kind of got screwed right at the launch and right at the jump because of like a different handling of IP of like somebody buying them up and changing them out, which is such a shame. This game is created by the same people that made Ark Survival Evolved, so it feels so much like that. As somebody who has put in so many hours into Ark Survival Evolved, I can tell you that this game is pretty much that game. But with pirates, it's like if you took Ark Survival Evolved and Sea of Thieves and combined them. Because I have played a good chunk of Sea of Thieves, and they feel so much the same. When you're on land, you're basically playing Ark, and then you build a boat, and you get on the boat, and now you're playing Sea of Thieves. That's what it feels like.
cool.
So it's fantastic. But yeah, I have put over 800 hours into Ark, and I'm already 70 hours over into Atlas, and I've owned the game for a bit of over a week. So I'm playing a lot of Atlas. And the thing is, I think the trick with this and the trick with some of these older games, because realistically, both Ark Survival Evolved and Atlas are very clunky. There's like a level of like trying to feel like a hacker man solving and trying to make the game fucking work, because the littlest thing in your folders, or the moment something isn't talking to something else, this whole game will just break. And a lot of times you don't know what it is, so then you have to start troubleshooting and start verifying files. And so I had that happen once. Funny enough, I actually have it on video. I am editing that video currently, and we'll also be releasing it so then you guys can all see what I'm talking about. But essentially what happened is I spent all this time building a Viking ship, got on the Viking ship, then a non-existent rock in the middle of the ocean capsized my ship, and then my whole
hate
game
those.
crashed. And then I spent like hours revalidating files, fixing it, and to this day I still don't know what the hell went wrong with it. But I mean, that's these games for you in a nutshell, is that there's so much fun. One moment you are feeling on top of the world because you just went and got a whole bunch of amazing treasure, and you maybe caught a bunch of really cool animals that you're taking home to your base, and then the next moment a rock that doesn't exist that's there destroys everything that you worked for.
Okay, on a scale of tragedy, on a scale of Titanic, the real boat, to this nautical incident that happened in Atlas, what is the word? 1,200 lives were lost on the Titanic, but how many hours were lost on the Viking Hidden Rock fiasco? Like, is it comparable? Are these comparable events? That's what
No, it's
No?
goofy. So
Okay.
here's the other element of this game too. Here's the other element. Like, I feel like if I was playing Atlas as a vanilla game, like it just came out, like if I were to go to Steam right now as a listener, buy Atlas, just play a solo playthrough, that kind of a breaking would be devastating, because that would take hours and hours and hours to build that, to achieve that, and to have it all lost. I think where these kind of games, especially these older games, especially these like quirky, clunky, like Ark and Atlas kind of games shine, is when you do implement mods to them. And to be fair, the mods actually could have contributed to this bullshit. So like, because That does
Probably
happen.
100%,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah. Well, no, this game, like even vanilla Arc
base
and
game
vanilla
is
base game gets
right.
it's so much. It's so much. That's why we were talking about complex games. These games for crafting survival games are very, very complex in that you need to be and they're way more grindy in a way and much more unforgiving than a lot of other crafting survival games. So like you have to eat, you have to watch out for temperature, you have all these different stats and these realistic things that you have to be concerned of. I spent the whole first hour of this game not on a modded server, and I died probably about 30 times just logging in because of a rattlesnake or a cobra or like some bullshit. And that's so much like Ark Survival Evolved. You will just spawn on the beach and a raptor comes up and goes, "Nah, are you having a good time? Fuck you," and kill you. And like
Dead.
that's how these games are in the beginning. But mods kind of allow you to cheese it in a way where you can start getting to the point where you're having a lot more fun because it's taking some of these complexities, some of these hardships, and like really just kind of doing away with them. So there's a server that I actually know from Ark Survival Evolved because they have that as well, and they have a server on Conan Exiles as well, and it's called Gaming Evolved, and they've been going since 2019. And on Ark they're really good, but they are probably one of the biggest and heavily modded servers that are out there. But it's also so cool because it's such a community. And so to get the scope of how big this server, this game is. So the way that both Ark and Atlas work is that you go to join in online. There's all these online servers. People can just start a server. They're not exactly in the same concept of like how a server actually is in like the computer world, right? Like it's not some physical server. It's basically chat rooms if you were to look at it that way. So they have all these things that you can just start and do. And some people have gotten a server to the point where they have their own physical servers to handle how big it's getting, which I'm sure Gaming Evolved does with how large this is of an operation that they're doing. But in Atlas, the way that it works is each grid or each server has 4 or 5 islands on it that you can travel to. And in a server like Gaming Evolved, they have a 15 by 15 grid. So, like I said, each grid has 4 islands on it that you can claim. So that's whatever
15
4.
times hold on, I'm getting
Yeah.
on my numpad.
Yeah, get out to numpad. That's yeah. Actually, fuck you. I think I will do that. So 15 times 15, basically times 4. That's like 900 islands that these guys are managing. Do you see how quick that was? That's because of the numpad. Thank you.
Can't do that on
Couldn't
the
do that
top
with
key
a
row.
Yeah,
No,
I
absolutely
disagree, Bobby.
not.
That's speed only numpad and memorization can get.
Do you want a receipt? I can print you that receipt, or I can text it to you. Anyway.
So here's my question though: how long does it take to get how long does it take to get from spawn to boat? Like, what's that like?
It's probably about 10 to 20. You know what? If you're Cricket Soldier,
20
long time listener, Cricket Soldier probably takes about 2 hours. We'll have to verify that with him. But
Right.
For me, derpy, dipsy, doodah, fucking dying from rattlesnakes, it took me like 2 hours to do it. But
20. 2 hours or 20 hours?
2. Well, still about like 2 hours to.
Okay, because Cricket
4 or
took
5.
2 and you took 2. I was looking for some
That's
sort
true.
of scale.
That's
I don't
true.
know.
Well,
So
you
2.
know, I think
we can safely say 2.
we can safely say 2, but I will say it really it really does depend. Like again, vanilla is very, very, very different of an experience than modded. So like for
Right.
example, in this, and I mostly kind of want to focus on talking about the modded servers with this because I do think that these days it would be really hard to convince people to play a game like Atlas or Ark Survival Evolved in 2026, playing these like 2015, 2018 games that were hard, grindy, and like quirky and a pain in the ass and complicated then. Now they haven't aged that well either. So I kind of feel like that's hard. But modded is a whole different experience because, like, for example, in this mod, when you pop in, they've designed this little like in-game shop. and in the in-game shop, it's not like these crazy microtransactions, though. Of course, you could spend real money to get these gems, but
Oh, really?
and it's for the server, but the server has also created it to where, like, I think it's like every 5 to 10 minutes you generate these gems. So you could just get enough money to buy things just by playing, and that's it. Like, and not spending any real money. And when you start, they give you for free these like resource chests that have like 10 grand of every single mat that you need. So you could just
The
pop
first
one of
one's
those.
free. I'm
No,
seeing this
three.
as a
No,
completely
three
different.
are free. 3 of them. 3. So you could build like 2 or 3 boats off of one right when you get into the game. So your time of shore to boat could be instant with the modded server. But the
But they're
down
but they're
But there's different
paying.
boats, right? Like we're talking about a
Yes.
little
Oh,
dinghy
there's so
or a
many.
galleon.
No, I'm saying a galleon. You could instantly just build a galleon, dude. Like, and so no, there's lots of different boats. Like, one of the things I was the most excited about is I built this pirate ship, and it's got like skeletons hanging from the bow, and like it looks like this old cursed ghost ship. And like, of course, I went all in because they have all these like decorative things that are part of the mods. One of the mods in it, this server has 27 mods, a lot. Some of them are quality of life things that make things just a lot easier. They fix stuff from vanilla that just streamlines it and makes it a lot better. Some of them are fun and goofy, like a decorative one where you could create like an entire kitchen, and you could just like, we kind of call it Martha Stewarding like your base. And so
Amanda, you need to go through the mods and just unselect the hidden rocks one in
for
the middle of the
real.
ocean.
Yeah, for real. It's so dumb. It was so weird too, and I have this on the video where I take the camera under the boat and there's nothing, and I go the camera above the boat and you can see a rock, and I'm like, this is bullshit.
Well, I broke our sacred rule and I clicked on the Steam page for this game. It, like, the visual fidelity kind of took me. I didn't expect it to look so good. I guess
Yeah,
I expected it to
it's
look a little bit more janky.
No, it's Unreal Engine 4. The only jankiness is how it runs, and that honestly, you have to have a lot of patience. Like, you'll hear it a little bit later, but like, there's a song that I just hear all the time because it takes forever to load into the game. And part of that probably is that they're loading so many of the mods, but even then, these are really beefy games because there's so many things. Like, another element and why I love these games so much is actually the taming, the animals, and things like that, because I think it's epic. Like, one of the mods they've created on this server is there are a lot of creatures from Ark Survival Evolved that they have actually brought over. One of them is a griffin, and with all of the things they've brought over, you can like tame it so that way that it's your pet. You can ride on a lot of them so that way they're your mounts. You can fight with a lot of them, so now they are your weapon. And then you can breed them and get mutations to create all these kind of crazy hybrids of like super strong stats. Or you could have, we have a crab that is Christmas colors. It's red and green. Like, you can breed like these animals to being yeah.
Amanda, why are you playing this game? Like, it's from 2018. What popped up? How did this enter the? What happened? How did this happen? How did we get here? How do we get to Christmas crabs?
I think I was playing Ark Raiders, of course, a lot with longtime listener Cricket Soldier, who said that he wanted to get into and check out Atlas. Both Cricket Soldier and I have played so much of Ark Survival Evolved. Funny enough, not together, but just in our own worlds, we've played so much. He's played thousands of hours, but I'm at 800. So like, we both have played a lot, and I would recommend these very heavily modded servers for people who have put in at least like 200 to 400 hours into the game, because otherwise it's very overwhelming. A lot of times they actually keep all of the vanilla stuff and they put the modded stuff in together, so it can be really overwhelming for a brand new player who has never played either games to look at the big long list of stuff and not know which ones. But a lot of times with these modded servers, especially one like Gaming Evolved, it's so big, the community is actually very helpful and very nice. Their community's been so active, and their global chat has just been popping off every time I play, of people helping out other people helping out new people. But anyway, back to your original point.
Is there a sub? Sorry, I'm gonna split off on another birdwalk from the one I just started. What's confusing to me is there a sub economy for Atlas servers? You mentioned there was paid currency just for this server.
Yeah.
So you buy the game Atlas, and then in that Gaming Evolved server, there's a way to pay Gaming Evolved the people who run the server under Atlas for stuff in just this server, just this specific server.
Yeah, if they want, yeah. Yeah, if they
So is
want
this
to.
like a
You don't
pay
have
a
to.
pay but is it like a pay to win? Like, it just
No,
feels weird.
so it does feel weird, but something that's cool, again, the community is awesome. So we were finding out that, like, for example, one of the other things that they brought from Ark Survival Evolved into the server is wyverns. I love wyverns. They're fast dragons, basically, that speed dragons, essentially, that
Yeah,
can
they
sit
stop
there and
production
fight.
when you upgrade the ice breath for we know why.
Yeah. And so I love them, and they have them in Atlas in this server specifically. That's not in the vanilla game, just in this mod. And the way that they've set it up is that you would need to pay real money to buy a wyvern. However, what people have done on the server, and they are absolutely allowed to do, is they've taken their wyverns that they bought, they bred a bunch of them, they had a bunch of wyverns, and then they were giving them out to people. So, like, we have a wyvern, we didn't buy one. So, like, it's one of those things where it's like you could, but honestly, there's so much content in this game, especially in the modded, you really don't need to spend any of the money. But there is an entire niche community that is
Interesting.
gladly doing that. Like,
And
that's
from
what's cool.
2018,
From
like, it
2018.
seems like it has longevity. If someone wanted to join you, has the boat sailed? Has the
No.
wyvern taken off? No. They can join you?
No,
Yeah.
they could easily join. Like I said, I would definitely, like, realistically, truthfully, if you've never played Atlas, you've never played Ark Survival Evolved, joining in on something like this would probably be insanely overwhelming. But if you're still curious, reach out to me and I'll at least, like, show some stuff too. Cause like I said, it's a very kind community that we've been playing with as well too. And there's a lot of people that have never played and they're joining, and I'm seeing them ask all these questions, and, like, people are very nice and helpful. There's people coming on these crazy speedster brigand, like, scrambler boats and, like, flying in and, like, helping people out, getting them on their boat and getting them set up. Like, it's very cool. They have a mall, like, in the middle of this 15 by 15 grid. That grid is only designed for people building their own little shops to sell whatever stuff they want. And there's a trade show where people can bring their best tames and, like,
That's so
trade
cool.
or teach them. And it's
I love that.
it's this super alive community. And I feel like
Yeah.
it just goes to show that, like, when you have a really great community and you have really people that are passionate about it, like, it can make a game from, like, 2018 and even older. There's examples, I'm sure, of games that are even older than this, right? That still have people that, like, are all in to the point where they're willing to pay, like, their own money for some private server thing to keep it going. Like, it's awesome. So I think it's amazing. And at the same time, fuck, because, like, this game is definitely got me pretty deep. I'm really looking forward to. I bought at the mall a seahorse, and now I'll get to explore underwater stuff because there's all this underwater stuff. You can find shipwrecks that have sunk to the bottom of the floor and get treasure that way. And there's this
How do you get
entire
down there if oxygen isn't in?
well, okay,
No?
so but it kind of is. You can put on your ship, you can put a diving attachment that gives you a like diving suit, and it's like this tube goes down and you just fuel it by using oil, and then you go down and you can breathe that way. Or you could create, this is one of the mods though, is that they have these really fun food things and these food buffs, and so you can create all these, like, special dishes. And so there's one called Seafood Delight, and when you eat it, you literally hear rave music, like, and like, it's like do 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 do, and it's so loud, and everybody around you can hear it, and it increases your swimming speed by like 20x for like 10 minutes, and you could just fly down there, and you could be like, oh, is that a big shark? Don't care, come catch me, bitch, and it can't, and it's so funny. But, like, that's what I mean. With the mods, it creates these really funny moments that are absolutely immersion and game breaking. But when you've put hundreds of hours into a vanilla based game of this, like, it makes it so much fun because you're just like, yeah, I don't care. I just want to grab my stuff. I just want to fly around on my boat and get treasure.
Sweet.
So,
Cool.
yeah, love this game anyway. But it's also caused me so much rage and anger. And so, like, I don't know. When's the last time you guys played a game where, like, you've gotten so pissed that you need a break from the PC for, like, hours, and then the next day you got right back on the game because you love it?
That's like my relationship with Insurgency Sandstorm. So I had to the highs and the lows, a toxic cycle, I think you would say.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, either because I was up against people who I'm pretty sure were cheating, or they were just really good at the game. That's I. If you're too good at the game, stop playing it. Play another game. Jeez.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and then I
Yeah.
would have like a really good round. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm the fucking best. I'm the best at
Yeah. I mean, that's like every MOBA for me,
yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. How does that experience with Insurgency Christian compared to what you played this week?
I don't know. It doesn't at all. But I think this game that I'm going to talk about this week was prophetic. The game I'm playing was called Tempest Rising, and after playing it, I had a storm both in my butt and my belly. So I would say it was weird. I was like Tempest Rising, and then I got Norovirus. Anyways, this is a classic RTS, kind of reminiscent of the old Command and Conquer games, which I grew up on. And I always have this. We talked about it a couple times on this podcast, going back to these classic RTS games. Bobby played Command and Conquer, the remaster, I believe, semi
Hmm.
recently. And I was hearing him talk about that. I was like, yeah, I have the itch, I have the want, I have the need. And Tempest Rising was supposed to be this faithful adaptation of that sort of game. So I checked it out. Uh, First of all, Bobby, you brought up this story in RTS a long time ago. You're like, yeah, RTS story is always just like an excuse to make you like learn the mechanics of the game, and they always like make you do like really weird things that you would never do if you were just like playing an Age of Empires game against someone. Like you have to go through these mountain passes and all these sort of intricacies that just involve more useless clicking, really. Like the fun part of the game is just like, you know, set up the vanilla map, me versus the computer, and let's see how this is. Uh, the story in Tempest Rising is bad. It's two factions in a global war. It's the simple RTS story we all crave. The good guys who are actually kind of bad and the bad guys who are actually kind of good. Didn't see that coming. And the reason why I wanted to play through the campaign is just because I have less time these days, and I kind of want a good slice of the game where I don't have to play like multiple versus games to get it. So uh, what I expect from a campaign is like, oh, we're gonna focus on like this unit and what makes this unit cool, and then the next game, oh, did you know Warcraft 3 player that when your wisps can explode, and do you know you can use these exploding wisps to your advantage in a normal vanilla 1v1 game? You would maybe not know that if you didn't play the Warcraft 3 campaign in that one level where they make you blow up your wisps. So that's kind of what I'm expecting and wanting. That is not what I got. I got okay. There's a line of dialogue. I couldn't believe this happened. They have these really uh intense cutscenes. They'll just like switch to a cutscene and it's like fully 3D rendered and it looks like immaculate. And this guy, my commander, he's like, the nest has been kicked. Let's see what comes crawling out. Like I just started my attack. I'm like, hold on, what's going on here? And then like he puts his glasses on, does the finger guns, and this rock music comes in. I'm like,
Wow.
this is not what I want. This is almost like a parody of what these games are at this point. Like this is a little too much. And so the story left me disappointed. I think what made Command and Conquer cool and Dune 2000 is that they took themselves seriously, even if it was sort of ridiculous. Um, those FMV cutscenes, you look back at them now and you kind of laugh and you're like, oh my God, those were so janky. But at the time, bro, I was in it. I was Nod, dude. Like, are you kidding? Like, that was awesome. And so I think this missed a little bit of what I wanted in kind of seeing a modern version of one of these games. I also missed the multiplayer boat. I couldn't find a multiplayer game. There's only 200 concurrent people playing this, and the game launched with 10,000 concurrent players. And so I feel like this is just the story of a lot of multiplayer games. Like, I wonder if we looked at the finals right now, how many people are still playing that, right? And how good of a game was that? Um, Part of the reason why I think Warcraft and Age of Empires and StarCraft, these original RTS games, were so popular is because everyone was playing them. There was 19,000 games released on Steam last year. 19,000, that's crazy. Verse, I covered it in black so you guys wouldn't see, but I want you to guess how many games in Steam do you think were released in 2002, the year that Warcraft 3 was released?
Well, Steam wasn't out in 2002, was it?
Yeah, it was. Yep.
Really? Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I guess so.
Yeah.
For the whole year?
For the whole year on Steam in 2002.
40.
Okay. Bobby?
Oh, no, it would be even less than that. It would be like the orange box or something. Um, I don't know. Like how many were released in
Yeah.
2002?
Released. Yeah.
Judging by the size of the black box, the redacted text, it looks double digits unless you put a zero in
Yeah.
there to fool
No.
me.
No.
So
This isn't a fool
I'm gonna
question.
guess I'm gonna guess between 10 and 20. I'm gonna go
10 and
15.
20. It is 75. So
Oh wow.
SteamDB keeps records all the way from 2001 and 75 games released on Steam. And in total, there were 785 games in total across all games and on all platforms in 2002. And so I just feel like we had more commonality in, this hobby. When people played games, there was a most popular game of each genre, and chances are people would play that, and that's not necessarily the case anymore. And I feel like that's part of the reason why, along with the game design of RTS is being a bit dated as well, perhaps. In conjunction with there's just a lot more games to play, and part of what makes these games magical is the community of the RTS game, find those multiplayer matches. That whole ecosystem doesn't exist in Tempest Rising, and it might not be through any fault of the game itself, just sort of, the gaming environment of today. So
There's
yeah,
like two trends that are happening that are working in opposite directions. One is the first one you just talked about. There's more and more games being released every year, like it's just exponential. The other one is that games that are released now are almost always multiplayer. Like that's very common for games when back
right,
in the day there was a lot more single player. So it's like there's more games, yet these games require you to play with other people. So if you and to varying degrees, right? Like it could be a co-op game that's just like 1 to 4 players, or it could be something that requires a community, so you have a pool of players to jump into games with or to be matched with or whatever. So it's like I don't know. It's a tough situation to be in because it's like you're competing with more games to try to get more players, but at the same time, there's less players to go around.
totally, yep,
I don't know. I feel
yeah,
like I can see why, in a way, though, that there is a big push for community. Because, like, I mean, we were just talking about it earlier with even Atlas. Like, a community can drive a game long term for sure. So for some people, for some developers, for some publishers, like they could still be making money off of people feeding into a community as well, and they can be kind of like this really great circle. But I do still feel like there's a good chunk of single player games coming out though. Like in the past year, we had what, like Death Stranding 2 and Claire Obscure won a bunch of awards. Like these are single player games that are pretty huge. I just think that because we have so many games, and quite frankly, because all three of us are biased to loving community and co-op and multiplayer games. So of course that's a lot more on our radar than maybe if we were only PlayStation or Xbox players or people on the PC that never wanted to join
I don't know.
other
I, I'd
groups. But
I think I'd push back against that. Like, I think there are more multiplayer games releasing than there ever was in 2002, right? Like, what are the LAN games you play in 2002? Like, I could open my Steam library and there'd be 500 games I could play. There wasn't even that amount of games released in, well, there was 785, but you know what I'm saying? Like,
mhm.
the amount of single player games and the amount of multiplayer games just had such a more focused stream of people to draw from that it was almost like guaranteed community. I don't want to say guaranteed, but like, you know, a lot
Well,
of the
Yeah.
yeah,
games
Well,
that
it's
exist.
it's tough. Just I'm looking at it from like a developer or publisher's point of view. Like it seems like more of a risk to make a game that depends on a large community or a large player base. Because
Totally.
if the game is a hit, great, that works out very well. But if it's not, then you have no game. Like you're probably losing money on the servers that cost to run
that's true.
Totally.
to host that game.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's
It has to be a banger right from the beat. What the finals did was so smart was that the game awards announcement that said, "Hey, the finals is a game," and then it was like the finals is out, right? So like
Yeah, so
everyone
you
could
can
play it.
it got people right at the peak of the interest because
Exactly, yeah,
that
because
was
they
very
needed that
smart.
wave to ride all the way to
Yeah,
like
but think of
presumably
all the
our
games
creators.
that didn't, that immediately the company realized right away this isn't going to work. We need to shut this down, like Scavengers or
Yeah, there was the other
uh,
one. Yeah,
God, I had another one ready to go too, but
yeah, yeah.
Lawbreakers by what Cliffy B or something, yeah, which was trying to compete with like in the Overwatch space, like with those
Hmm.
types of games.
Yeah,
That one
there's
was
been a
just like, oh nope, that's not going anywhere.
and I
Cut that
feel
one loose.
bad because Tempest Rising was clearly made in that way where I can tell it was supposed to be live service because, I joined the main screen. I have like little XP for multiplayer. I have like a latest news thing. It's like the old Warcraft 3 main menu. It shows how many lobbies are there. Like there was an ecosystem planned for this to have service, and it doesn't really feel like that's probably going to happen. Maybe it will,
Hmm.
but it
Yeah.
doesn't seem likely, which is
Well, I
sad.
mean, like like the games I just mentioned, they never even made it out of early access. Like I played the betas on those, and then like they realized like that wasn't gonna take off, so they just cut it right before it was before release, even,
Yeah.
which is crazy. The amount of money, time, and effort that went into making those games to just be like, nope, scrap it.
Insane, insane. Um, you're making me think of something like off the hop here. Maybe it's just like also the way we play RTS game. Like I'm thinking when you play an RTS game, you're hitting the find lobby button and you're expecting to find a lobby. But when you launch something like Phasmophobia, usually you're going in with like two or three friends that and it's like a cooperative thing. So I don't know, maybe RTSs just have to evolve a little bit about like what am
Yeah.
I doing and what are my expectations?
Well, I think it's the co-op versus. I didn't
Versus,
realize that
Versus.
versus,
until I said
versus.
it. Yeah. But there was a little while. So there was a member of our community that I would jump into StarCraft 2 with, and we would play the co-op modes in that when they
Mm,
came out. The co-op modes weren't terribly exciting in that game, but they were kind of fun. They got really old really quick. But typically in an RTS, you're playing versus, and it's very competitive. Like
yeah,
it's a zero sum game, winner take all. That's not that's not something I would typically queue up with buddies for. It's like usually if like I'm on Discord with friends, it's like, let's play something where we all contribute to a common goal. Let's play a co-op game.
yeah. Yeah, so Tempest Rising, gameplay wise was great. Like the actual me playing the game is great. The story interjecting in what I was playing wasn't so great. It was a little bit too much of a parody of what I would like these games to be. Also, no multiplayer really sucked because I wanted to test my little skills on other real people, and that didn't happen. And I think it's really hard for without IP, like without the Age of Empires beside the four, to just launch a new RTS without
Mhm.
bringing that community with you. You have to have just like, I mean, you have to have more than a huge launch. So if they launched with 10,000, I mean, it's not huge, but it's not bad. And so, yeah, unfortunately, Tempest Rising missed the boat a little bit with me for those two reasons, but I think was a decent try at trying to bring back a classic RTS with a new world, right? They're
Hmm.
not
Mhm.
leaning on like Command and Conquer or anything else that's been around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's the sound. That's the bumper. We're talking about what do we want to play? What's on our radar? What's everybody got? I'll start. I'm gonna talk a little bit about Bloodthief. Looks interesting. I kind of feel like Bobby,
Bloodthief.
maybe you would have mentioned this before. I don't know, Bobby, if you've mentioned this before, but Bloodthief I could see you enjoying as well, actually, too. It's this like it came out recently in September. It's a melee dungeon runner that kind of uses parkour and slashing. I actually thought it was a boomer shooter at first. It reminds me a lot of Doom, especially in the graphics and kind of going through a dungeon, but it's a little bit more like I guess a ninja style, kind of running in really fast and slicing through people. And there's lots of blood, lots of gore, lots of red pixels, but actually, it's made by a solo dev, and I watched this really fascinating video about him talking about like his experience and reflection. It was his very first game that he made. He was really connected with the community and listened to a lot of their suggestions and made a lot of changes, like the customization of the blood. You can change it to being a bright magenta color or green or whatever kind of
Hmm.
color you want. And so that's kind of
I
really
like green
fun.
blood.
Yeah,
Vulcan
green.
blood. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty
Yeah.
fun. And so, I feel like it's always so cool to see kind of the devs that open up and kind of connect with their community, their base, and their people and make content kind of showing behind the scenes and the things that they're working on, which is cool. He added like a new high score table, sorry, and had to change it based on nerfing some weapons. Because what this game is that basically you're going through this dungeon and speed running it as fast as you can to try and kill things and be on a high score table, but you use all these different weapons and you can get all these different weapons, and obviously they have different buffs and things like that too. And so there's like a death scythe and like blades that help you jump and kind of go around and hop and fly, and it just seems like such a fun hack and slash kind of game with a lot of gore, and he's added some story to it, like finding a king dead and trying to investigate what happened. And so it seems like such a cool game, especially for a solo dev, and it's doing really well. So it looks very exciting.
Hmm.
Sweet.
So you aren't stealing blood.
Yeah. You're not stealing blood.
You aren't a vampire.
No, but if I
There's
remember,
no thieving.
but if I
There's no
remember
thieving of blood?
correctly, you do get some buffs from killing and things. Like it might allow you to jump more, or jump longer, or increase your stamina. So you're kind of siphoning a little bit. There's a little bit of some
Okay.
siphon, but I don't know. Bobby, you want to, were you so inspired with Atlas and the boat talk and going into the water that makes you want to do Subnautica too?
Yeah, well, I had no idea Subnautica 2 was slated to come out in 2026, but apparently it is. If you don't know what Subnautica is, it's an underwater survival adventure game. I really enjoyed this, even though it's a crafting survival game, like the original one that came out like 10 years ago. Um, it was one of the earlier ones that had like a story, and it was a crafting survival, but it was also a campaign. Like you were working towards something. And I played it in beta and got to or early access, and I got to a point where like I had discovered this like whole new area and it was really exciting, but then I kind of like tapered off and lost interest and never went back to the game, unfortunately. But that's okay because Subnautica 2 is coming out, and this one has multiplayer, which is going to be like incredible. That's exactly what this game needed. Subnautica was a fantastic game. I love the underwater environment. It was both beautiful and terrifying. Like deep sea underwater stuff, that stuff terrifies me, man. Like if you go on YouTube and like watch a video on like the craziest deep sea creatures, like that stuff is like my nightmares. So this game, I found both fun and terrifying.
There's
It,
two
it is
things that
this
terrify this man: a long receipt and deep underwater creature.
giant underwater sea creatures and
Yeah.
receipts. It's the same developers as the original game, Unknown World. So we can kind of expect the same thing. If you watch the videos and see the screenshots on the Steam page, it looks just about the same, but you can tell there's definitely an upgrade in graphics. I mean, it's been 10 years, so obviously there should be. I
Mm.
looked it up. The original one used the Unity engine, which back in that day was very common. But this one is on Unreal Engine 5, which for today, I feel like everything's on Unreal Engine these days. So the graphical difference is very noticeable. It looks good. Not only the screenshots, but the game in motion looks like it's going to be really good. What I found interesting was if you watch the trailer on the Steam page, it ends with a title card that says early access coming 2025. And I guess they didn't bother to change that
We're
because
not going to take that one down. We'll just leave that one up.
2025 came and went. I guess they're a little behind schedule, but their Steam page says it's coming out in 2026. So I'm excited about this mostly because of the multiplayer. Like that's the key thing here. I really liked Subnautica, the first one, but I love multiplayer and co-op, and like this is the type of game that really benefits from co-op, like that base building survival. So um hopefully soon 2026. It's going to go through an early access period first, so we'll see when that comes out. But this this might be, I don't know, it depends on where I'm at, but this might be like a day one purchase when it goes on sale. Man,
Ooh.
I really like Subnautica.
So this page has been on Steam since October 14th, 2024, and it is the number one most wishlisted game on Steam.
Wow.
And
It
why
is
am I just hearing about it now? Like I checked our notes and I'm like, have we talked about this before? It
but
seems like
never.
something that would have come up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. It is the most wishlisted game on Steam. 252,000 followers, which means I don't know, maybe something like 5, 6, 7 million wish list. I'm just pulling numbers out my ass, but like an incredible amount of attention. I feel like there's so much, like I feel like this is beyond hype. Like people expectations for this are very high.
Mhm.
So it doesn't super surprise me that the 2025 release date slipped a bit because I also remember there might have been some was it drama? I forget if it was serious or not, but between the publisher and the developer. Do you guys remember anything about
I
this?
vaguely remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe this is old news or whatever. But anyways, to have that much hype on an early access game, the most wishlisted game on Steam, big shoes to fill. So yeah, scary
Mhm.
to hit
Well,
that
I
launch
added
button.
it to my wish list today,
I'm
so
doing my part.
increment that by one.
That's
Nice.
right. What about you,
Cool.
Christian? What do you got on
Yeah,
your
so the game,
radar?
yeah, I'm going to talk about Earth of Oryn, which I think is a game I put on my radar in like 2024, according to our sheet. It's this beautiful isometric medieval city builder that is sort of seemingly focused on how small choices while you're city building compound into this evolving society. So, usually you're putting buildings down in the city builder and bada bing, bada boom, your numbers go up, you get other buildings, you put those down. But this is sort of more with the seems to be the dwarf fortress take where the buildings interact with the people inside and they affect like what sort of government they want to form or what food they like to eat. They have synergies that you wouldn't expect. Uh, the game is truly beautiful. I love this art style. It's published by the makers of The Wandering Village, which is, I feel like, one of the first moving city builder games that came out. There's been a couple of them since then, but this is a solo developer, and or they come across as very honest and humble on the Steam page. It's almost like they're presenting the game to you. He's like, "We'll release an early access, not feature complete. If you don't want bugs in your game, don't buy this because when it comes out, it's not going to be close to perfect." Which I appreciate because I know exactly what I'm getting into, and I think I'm sold. I kind of want a details matter city builder, sort of like this one I played so long ago that's now entered 1.0 called Songs of Six. It's like another sort of these dwarf fortressy games where it's just not so clear the effect of what your decision has on the future of your city, right? It's not one equals one. It's like, oh, my, you know, my whole left wing of my dwarf colony has blown up because I didn't consider the structural anatomy of these rocks over here. Uh, that's the sort of complexity I enjoy in these types of games, and that's what I'm looking forward to for Earth of Oryn. It's also why I kind of like Oxygen Not Included because it's not so simple. You have to think a little bit harder on those. Is there really 16 overlays? That's
There are, I mean, useful ones that you're going to use all the time, like not
like
that many,
four.
but yeah,
Yeah.
it's F1 through F12 and then shift F1 through F4.
I feel like I didn't know. Maybe that's why I was losing all the time. I didn't even know the overlays I wasn't hitting. But
Yeah, you
yeah,
didn't understand the gas pressure, man. You weren't paying
yeah,
attention to that.
yeah. I was out of my league for sure. Um, yeah, Earth of Oryn.
Very cool. Alrighty. Well, that's a show, guys. So, what's our community up to? Bobby, you want to give us a shout out?
Yep. Quick shout out to our executive producer every week, Truthbringer, making it happen. We
Truthbringer.
appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Truthbringer. Truthbringer.
Got to say your name every episode. And we also got a new patron.
Bobby sounds so tired. So keep going.
We got, yeah, that didn't sound good, but no, I mean, we have to, like, we owe it to this.
Contractually. Yeah.
Yeah. But we got a new patron this week, Roper. Thanks for joining the crew, man.
Hi,
Welcome
Roper.
aboard.
Thanks, man.
Thank you, Roper.
Or girl. Wherever you are.
And this is an exciting episode because this is actually Amanda's 4-year DLG anniversary. 4 years with
Wow.
DLG.
Yeah.
Yay! Claps.
Woo.
4 years.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
Oh, you had the cue. Seems like our crowd got a little bigger.
No, it's been awesome to be part of DLG. Like, this community is so fantastic. And yeah, I remember the first time I went into the studio in San Diego and was like, I'm so nervous. And it was so much fun and the start of something new. So thanks for keeping me around, guys.
Sweet, sweet.
So moving on to listener questions and corrections. We've just got 2 from Discord. The first question comes from Cricket Soldier, who I feel like we've mentioned a lot this episode, so shout out to Cricket Soldier again. But he asks, why does Hellboy, played by Ron Perlman, drink Tecate?
I don't know who Ron Perlman's or Tecate is.
Wow. Oh, okay.
Wow, Christian.
I mean, I don't know the answer to this question. I feel like he's asking this question and he knows the answer and he's testing us.
Is this a riddle? Why does
I don't
Ron
know.
Perlman's, is this someone famous? Should I Google Ron Perlman?
Well, from the movie Hellboy, like, it's just basically asking, why does Hellboy drink Tecate? My guess is that, like,
what's
Tecate?
Tecate?
It's a Mexican lager.
Okay.
And I feel like it's like no bullshit. It's good. It's like the kind of beer like you would just drink because you're
In
chilling.
hell?
Well,
Got it.
no, but I feel like with Hellboy, like
He's
a
not from
very
hell.
he's a very
just his
he's a very
parents were.
normal dude. Like, he's no nonsense in a way and like no bullshit.
Right.
So like I feel like there's no way Hellboy would be like, yes, I'd love a Cosmo, please. Like, no, they're not. He's not drinking like fancy cocktails or anything like that, right? Like, I feel like
Okay.
he would just be like, yeah, just give me the good shit. He's not gonna be drinking like PBR, but like, yeah, Tecate. Like, I could see that. I don't know.
Tecate.
What do you think?
I like it.
What do you think, Bobby?
I have no idea. See, I feel like there is an answer here, like something in the lore of Hellboy, or maybe this is just like a setup and there's a punchline that we just don't know. I'm not sure. I feel like we got to have Cricket Soldier respond to this and tell us why.
Yeah, what's
Next
the
episode.
punchline, Cricket?
Yeah.
Yeah, there better be a follow-up. All right, well, moving on to our next question from Warconius. He says, great job on the awards episode of the podcast. Suggestion for next year, no pants. Warconius,
Huh.
you thought we were wearing pants? Come
You
on.
only see from the shirt up, bud. You
That's
never know.
right. Yeah, exactly. So then he asks, have you guys checked out this gaming release schedule? Are there any excitement for the games connected to popular IPs? He lists 007 as one of them, Battlestar Galactica is another one, and The Expanse.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah.
The BSG and the Expanse are.
I'm so excited for The Expanse, dude.
2026 is the year. I'm
gonna
excited about IP. I'm just like all
Yeah.
the wish list. Oh my! I'm like, oh.
I'm
IP,
honestly
IP,
excited.
IP.
I'm excited for 007 as well, though. Like, that's gonna be so cool. I don't know. I'm stoked. Yeah, I think I'm the most excited for The Expanse for sure. That's gonna be so cool. What about you, Bobby? You excited? 007? Battlestar Galactica?
Nah, I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know. We talked about last episode what I was excited for. None of these are really on my radar.
All of these seems like you need a GPU. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, Rogue Core and hopefully Subnautica 2 is on. Those are on my list, but these ones, I'll be all right missing these ones. You guys got it. We got coverage.
You got it. We got it.
We do have coverage. That is true. But I don't know. I thought you'd be more excited for some of them. Have you watched The Expanse?
I have not. No,
Oh,
you
dude.
guys have talked about it
Dude.
a lot, so I'm familiar with it. And this is not the first Expanse game, right? There was another one.
A Telltale one. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I'll start watching the show and then I'll be
Yeah,
excited
that'll
about
never
that. But I
fucking
don't know.
happen. Yeah, maybe pigs will
One
fly.
can dream.
That's something
Yeah.
that could happen.
One can dream. What are you plugging today, Christian?
It's time to join the Discord. Have you not joined our Discord? Enough. Go to dlgaming.net, click Discord. That's the plug.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, that's an episode, guys. Thanks for letting me host. And, my name is Amanda. Joining us today is Bobby and Christian. And, you should tune in next week. I think I'm going to start taking control of the quarantine zone and screening new citizens for signs of the undead because quarantine zone's coming out tomorrow,
What do these people
being
have in
Monday,
their
January
asses?
12th. Yeah, I need to know, dude. Are they hiding some sort of infection and they're going to destroy the city?
Norovirus? Yeah.
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 So tune in next week. I'm going to be talking about quarantine zone. They'll be pretty fun. But Bobby, what's going on?
Oh boy, yeah, that's right. I teased this at the beginning of the episode. We got some big news. Oh boy, I'm just going to come right out and say it, folks. This is my last episode on the podcast. Let that sink in for a moment. I know it's tough, feeling very emotional right now, but I'm going to save my big emotional speech and all my feelings for another mini episode that's going to be released in a couple of days here. So check that out. And yeah, man, it has been awesome. It's been a good time, but
And
it's all going to be in the mini episode. Let's not get into it right now.
me and Amanda have
Oof.
not heard. We don't know the contents of this mini episode. We're trying to keep our tears back right now, but I think when we listen back to it, it's going to hit us right in the feels. So
Yeah, I think
I'm
I'm in
excited.
shock. I'm excited
Yeah.
for you, but I'm in shock. And
Yeah.
yeah.
And you said it's your last episode, but you did say we could call upon you like the Horn of Gondor every 4 months. Right?
Yep. I mean, I'm still going to be out. I'm still going to be in the community. I'll probably pop up from time to time on an episode. Like I'm not going to disappear, guys. So,
Mhm.
don't worry. This
He's not
isn't-
dead.
this
He's just
isn't
building a
goodbye.
supercomputer. He's buried in RAM somehow, Bobby.
Yeah.
Uh,
All right,
right.
Bobby. Well, what's playing us out this week?
well, this is going to be appropriate. This is the epic main menu theme to Atlas.
All right.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye. If you're Bobby, bye forever. Sorry, too soon. That was horrible.
He's setting his sails. He's
Off into the horizon.